सर्व विद्यालय
सम्पूर्ण सरलाई नमस्कार.
नमस्ते, गुड मर्निङ.
So this is 1 month certification training, day 7. Strategies for continuing professional development, and I'm the reporter. My name is Badri Bahadur Tamang. I'm from Sindhu Palchok, Sri Mahendra Secondary School, in Indravati 2 municipality. So yesterday there was a presenter, ma'am Nirmala Raut, and there was the presentation on strategies for continuing professional development CPD, and I'm just going to present my report on that. And before that, I just would like to thank ma'am coordinator Binda Dahal, okay, for coordinating all the session yesterday. At the same time, another handsome gentleman, Mr. Dipender Regmi sir, for making for entertaining entire day. Yes. And then today.
Just 2 years, 3 years back maybe.
Okay. So my report today, I'm going to include 3 sections in my report. The fact, in which I'm going to include my factual details, and the feel, where I'm going to express my feelings, and then feedback, some like a reflection on both the facts, feelings, and feedback thing. But you'll find some objective truth in the facts, what we did in the training hall, and then I will include my emotions and perceptions and responses in feelings part, and the feedback part. I'll try to maintain a gap of both of them. I'm going to bridge the gap. And then, yes, today I've made it very, very picturesque type of presentation, so that, and you will find all the way when we talk about CPD, it means all the way going from our initial competence to the enhanced competence, and we will have basic teaching skills in our initial, and then when we, after formal training, we will centralize courses and workshops, and then we go for school support, where teacher professional development practices will be there. And then reflection and inquiry will undergo reflection and inquiry, and then when once we are ready butterfly, then that is improved knowledge and skills. That is one all the way. So we have begun our journey from yesterday. And when we talk about professional development activities, like we talk about workshops, joining conferences, even peer observation, our colleagues observing our teaching methods, and then mentoring and coaching, and then online CPD, and self-directed learning and self-evaluation part. We kept much focus on that as well. And then there was a group reshuffle, if you remember, and we were divided into 5 groups. The first group was given the task of what CPD is. At the same time, the second task was about why CPD matters. And then third part was CPD strategies in Nepal. And there are some challenges regarding CPD, and at the same time, the group 5 was there for putting focus on strengthening CPD or overcoming the challenges. And then there was group discussion. The group A did presented, yes, that we already did yesterday, so I'm not going to read all of the lines. And this was the group B presentations, and they presented on why CPD matters. And group C is there for what are the CPD strategies in Nepal. And then there are different CPD strategies, and another group is there, group D, talking about challenges of CPD. And finally, group 5 talking about the ways for overcoming CPD challenges. I mean, the strengthening CPD. At the same time, we even talked about ways of enhancing professional development. Like there are so many other ways as well, like through skill development, knowledge enhancement, and the CPD is all about networking opportunities and challenges are there, and knowledge enhancement and career advancement and strengthening CPD. Thank you, Anju ma'am. Because of you, that napkin AI, yeah, that was very, very fruitful, and I did my presentation very nice. And again, we did talk about the awareness journey of CPD, yes, and that began with awareness, isn't it? And that's about initial recognition of subject, and then all the way going to understanding level. And what do we do in understanding level? We grasp nuances and complexities. And then we further go for the engagement. When we are in the stage of engagement, then there is active participation and interaction. We do that. And then finally there is the integration part. The flower is ready, and that's a holistic, cohesive approach. And we become a ready person. And then there was a discussion on navigation of CPD through self-assessment. And we did a kind of gallery walk, if you remember. And 5 different topics were given for the gallery walk. That was all about lesson planning. And then digital technologies. What is our status? What is our knowledge on that? We just did a gallery walk and tried to find our space. And then effective assessment was there, and inclusive practices, and the 21st century skills. And then, okay, we did talk about 3 pillars of CPD. Do you remember? 3 pillars of CPD. And they are, yes, autonomous learning, and then, yes, collaborative learning, and then guided learning. So autonomous learning is all about self-directed learning and using ICT technologies, ICT things. And there's collaborative learning is possible through peer observation and self-reflection. Sometimes by reflecting ourselves, also we can collaborate. And then there was guided learning through taking part in seminars, workshops, and many things. And when we talk about autonomous learning, that means the dynamic environment in the classroom. Yes, that empowers learners to pursue goals effectively. And we also can have the CPD networks, that is about providing resources and supporting for professional growth. And then we have the ICT-based learning that offers flexible and accessible platform for skill acquisition. Yes, and the self-directed learning, there are more on that, like we can engage ourselves in reading and research work, and that will help to expand knowledge and gain insights. And then also we have practice self-reflection and journaling thing also we can do. And we understand thoughts and feelings from there, and we also have review performance that to identify strengths and the areas for improvement. And also we have experiment, that is to foster creativity and innovation. And finally we have teacher responsibility, how we can be a responsible teacher and guiding and supporting our students. That was all about self-directed learning. And then, yes, the guided learning, it was there. That is all about mentoring, yeah, and then training or sessions, participating in training sessions, and then conferences, and we can organize and we can take part at the same time in workshops and seminars for the continuous improvement. And okay, there is the next, what? The collaborative learning. That is possible, observing our peers, at the same time reflecting on our own. And when we do reflect, there is self-reflection, then we question ourselves, what worked? Okay, what idea in pedagogy worked? And what didn't work? And why that didn't work? And what might be the strategies? Type of things are there. And then there are we did talk about different models of self-reflection technique, models like ERA cycle. We did talk about ERA cycle. We did talk about Driscoll's Watt model. And we also talked about Kolb's experimental learning cycle. And one more is there, Gibbs reflective cycle. And for the more information, I've just kept the references, and you can go there and you can have further information. And then, very, very important topic was critical incident analysis. When we go in the classroom, there are so many problems. This is all about going in a very minute details of those problems and overcoming them. And there are the certain process. And what is the first process? Describe. What we do in describe? What has happened. And then we go to analyze. Once the problem is identified and we analyze the problem, why did it happen? And once analysis is done, then we generalize. Yeah? So what? How will it change my future teaching? And finally we act. We bring that into action. What is the concrete change for tomorrow? And we apply it. And then we did talk about mentoring. The mentoring and supervising, that's a very, very different things. Mentoring is horizontal in structure, whereas super is vertical, isn't it? So there are a mentor and mentee, and then all the way it's a practice of novice practitioner is there. New practitioner is there, lacking experience and guidance, and then the mentor makes them active listening, understanding mentee's perspective, and then mentoring skills using questioning to foster growth. And then non-judgmental observation is there. We put our ego aside and we give them feedback, and finally we make that very novice practitioner change them into an experienced practitioner who has confidence and skilled in their role. And now these were the facts that I have observed. Now let me go with feelings then. What are the takeaways of yesterday for me? So first thing, that constructive feedback, I got that is one of the very good feedback for me, takeaway for me, like all the way turning auto-centric approach to presenter-centric approach. Focusing on presenter, putting ego aside, task-focused perspective, and then giving responses. And also, this is also my another takeaway. What is that? The traffic light visuals related to feedback. Especially in mentoring session, green feedback is there. First of all, green feedback, we directly do not criticize. We praise first. Good, keep doing this. And then we go for yellow feedback thing, that is, we start questioning. In that part, we pause and think about this. What about this? And then finally, red feedback. Okay, we pick up one suggestion, stop and try this, and we try to implement that one. And my another takeaway was about, does it make sense? Does it give anything? Fishball technique, isn't it? Fishball technique was there. The different presenters, I brought some photos here. You are here, and from there, very fishball activities also. Very good for the learners. So this is also my takeaway. And another takeaway is, let's be coach, not the critic, because coach is all about giving support. So coaching is about mentoring and not critiquing. So we'll not go for the areas for improvement first. We'll go for the things that we have to focus first. And yes, learning beyond the classroom. Okay, that is also my another takeaway. When we talk about CPD, it doesn't happen only in the formal setting like this. We can learn beyond. For example, we talked about hallway, we talked about theory of practice, we talked about conferences, networking, yes, especially the hallway practice thing that I learned. And my another takeaway is about learning menu. Preparing right from yesterday. I started making learning menu. I think you did the same. At the same time, there was note-taking skill. Yes, note-taking skill was there. And then, what is the next? Action mapping as well. Only note-taking is not possible. We have to take the notes into action. That is, action mapping plan. And next is about plan Monday morning action. What a very nice idea. Yes, we plan everything and we put that into action. And then engage in hallway conference. And then plan a knowledge cascade. Cascading knowledge is also one of the very, very good. Okay, we have whatever we have learned in the hall, we'll take back to our colleagues and we'll share it. Okay, now I'm almost at the end, and the next was about CPD bingo card. We did play that game, that was very interesting. And then, yes, another takeaway that I really touched my heart. The teacher who doesn't learn will never teach. So if we want to teach, we have to learn. And if we have to learn, then that's CPD, isn't it? So that's that kind of connection. Now, then what's the way further? I'm going my third part of the presentation, the reporting, that is feedback session. And, okay, I have come to a conclusion that it has been an urgent need for building a CPD culture. Without CPD, it's not possible. Why we need that? We need that because, let's look at the fact. School is turning this way, teachers are turning another way, and students are turning another way. This is our present situations. And we look at the classroom, the students are very reluctant to learn, they're not active. And then now, after this CPD, after this kind of training, now we have got to the very would-be learning environment. How can we change that learning into would-be learning environment? Yes, like we can make very green school, and look at the students, they are very much interested to interact. At the same time, look at the teachers, the students do not have fear for interacting with teachers. And I think CPD will has this goal. Then, the future classroom, how our future classroom, would be future classroom. So, this is what our future class would be, full of the materials. And Anju ma'am is again here. Okay, we're very happy. We'll try to make our future classroom like this once we go back. So finally, there is a picture, I like it very much, and it says there is a time for educational paradigm shift. If we do not practice CPD, yes, we are going to be a dinosaur perhaps. So to continue our existence, there has been a, and then in appendix session, I have brought some pictures. Yes, the yesterday's activities, and here we have, yes, next picture, yes. At the same time, okay, these are the activities that we did in the classroom. I've kept them in appendix part. Yes, the fishbowl, under fishbowl technique. And then we had a group photo outside, we can see. And then, yes, and then for the reference things, I brought these things. So this is how I just would like to, if you have any queries, I'm ready to respond you. And for the active listening, I would like to thank you very much. Yes, sir.